Hello everyone, welcome to my Let's Try of 428 Shibuya Scramble. This is currently a demo, as you can see here in the title of my stream. So I'm not really sure, I don't know anything about this game. I just heard somewhere that it was like weird or crazy, like just really out there. So I thought I'd give it a try, see what this is all about. Oh, okay. I want the guide of gameplay to be displayed in the first 5 players like this. Okay, sure, let's do that. Alright. Okay, I guess this. Story is a work of fiction, names characters. Confidential, okay. Spike Chunsoft. Spike Lee's distant cousin, apparently. Is this a live action game? You know what? This might actually be a live action game. It is. Huh. Wow. Look at that stadium up there. And the high risers? That's interesting. I didn't know such a building existed. Or anything in that kind of design. Can you imagine playing baseball in that? Yeah, they really hit it out of there. Right into probably somebody's window. Or maybe somebody's car out on the street. Or maybe into a... I don't know. Anyway. The world doesn't change so easily. Okay.
ニュースをお伝えします。新宿区オフィスビル立てこもり事件の続報です。今朝、新宿6丁目のオフィスビルに目出し帽をかぶった40歳前後とみられる男が従業員数人を人質に取り立てこもりました。その後数時間経った今も男は会社員の話によりますと、立てこもっている男は北島という男である可能性が高いとのことです。その男は以前からこのビル内のある企業との仕事上の取引があり、金銭上のトラブルが絶えなかったということです。今回の立てこもりはそのトラブルに端を発したものではないかと見方が広がっています。
Oh, it blew up. Damn. Shibuya's story is yours to tell. As you play through the game, the various mechanics will be explained. In 428, you follow the stories of multiple protagonists at once. Your decision impact their experiences as you read the story, not reading the story. Anyway, what does the day hold in store? Their fate is in your hands. Hopefully you can see them all through to the end. To start, you have two characters, Shinya Kano and Ichi Endo. I probably butchered their names, I apologize. Let's begin by checking out Kano's story. They got like a sort of like a male face, but at the same time, like they look kind of female-ish. Pretty sure that's a female, but anyway. Just 2 more minutes to go. Shinya Kano noted the time again on his watch, scowling at the slow creep of the second hand. The time was 9:58 a.m. Furrows of consternation creased his forehead. He wasn't nervous, but he knew better than to expect everything to go smoothly. Keeping a level head was proving rather difficult. There was no room for failure. Lives were on the line here. He eyed his surroundings. Was the perp really going to show up? When? Where would he be coming from? How would he make his approach? The Shibuya Scramble was as packed as ever. Agent V! A throng of people crossing this way and that, blissfully unaware of the dozens of detectives hidden in its midst. Yeah, they don't look like they stand out at all. Alright, another minute and a half. Kano glanced down at his watch yet again. A mere 30 seconds has passed. Detective Kano had been with the enforcement arm of Shibuya's criminal affairs section for a year now, but he'd never been part of an operation this big before. He eyed the young woman standing beside the statue up ahead. She was small enough to get lost in the crowd, and she carried a nondescript attached case. Hitomi Osawa, age 19. The attached case in her hands contained a full 50 million yen in cash. Yesterday, her twin sister, Maria, had been kidnapped. This was the reason, or ransom payment. Yeah, this was the reason payment, apparently. This was the ransom payment. The culprit had called Hitomi last night, at home, referring to her by name and telling her to wait by the statue of Hachiko, in Shibuya. It was almost time, but nothing. Kano was staring fixedly at the second hand on his watch when a homeless man sitting on the sidewalk murmured just loud enough for him to hear. Come on, Kano, quit looking at your watch so much. What if the kidnapper sees you? Kano tried to look nonchalant as he lifted his eyes, but the scruffy character continued. You're too nervous, just relax already. You're the one acting suspicious. Sasayama. Kano frowned. Why would some homeless guy be talking to me? Yuji Sasayama was the senior officer of the Shibuya Precinct's Criminal Affairs Division, 5 years older than Kano. Some words and phrases in the text appear in blue. damn, now that it says it, yeah. Like Shibuya's precincts. Like, that's in blue. Like, to me, doesn't look blue, it looks like dark gray. Or not dark gray, but it looks like a light shade of gray, which could possibly be blue. Like, the word guide, and that, like, where the yellow text is, just above that, that's blue to me. Like, if it was in that color, then yeah, I could understand. But anyway. These are called tips. Press square to underline a tip, and then press X. This will let you read some extra info relating to the word or phrase. There are tips containing general knowledge and ones that are 428. Specific. These are marked with a magnifying glass and a 428 respectively. Excuse me. Sorry for the yawn. Official name, Shibuya Central Precinct. Responsible for the safety of approximately 200,000 people in 32 neighborhoods, including Yuhara. Oh god, time to really butcher these names. Yuhara. Ugestincho. Denicho. Ugandawacho. Ibisu. Ibisinchi. Ibisumanami, Oyamato, Kamiyamacho, Sakuraga Kacho, Sasazuka, Saruga Kucho, Shibuya, Shoto, Jinmei, Shinsencho, Jinin, Sendegaya, Daikanya Macho, Doganzaka, Tomigaya, or Tomigaya, Nanda Pei Decho, Nishihara, Hadagaya, Hachi Yamato, oh my god, Hatsudai, Higashi, Hiru, Honmachi, Maru Yamato, Moto Yo-Yo Gisho, Yoyogi, and Yoyogi Kamizonocho. Okay, I just pressed up and that's what I played through the scroll hit. Okay, press down when rewinding events like this. The book will sometimes appear in the upper left corner. Press X while this is being displayed to read the current page. Okay. He always went a little overboard with the disguises. He claimed it was all part of the job, but word around the station was that he just liked playing dress up. Hey, pal, spare some change? Sasayama lurched to his feet and shuffled in close to Kano. Hey, knock that off. Fittingly for the part, Sasayama reeked pretty badly. Well, ain't so suspicious now, huh? He clung to Kano with mock camaraderie, despite the younger man's attempt to pull away. Come on, Sasayama, cut it out. Sasayama's blithe confidence rattled Kano's nerves. Of course, there was good reason for that confidence. This was Kano and Sasayama's jurisdiction, but they were positioned a good distance from where the handoff was to take place. The statue of Hachiko was surrounded by elite investigators from one of the HQ's special investigation teams. Sometimes two or more tips will appear on the single screen. Press square repeatedly to change which words are underlined. Highlight at the tip you wish to read, and then press X. Continue pressing square or press circle to return to reading the story. jurisdiction. Okay, I seen the statue of Hachiko and HQ was lit, but I didn't see the jurisdiction one. A particular region over which an organization or a member thereof has control of authority refers here to the areas under the jurisdiction of various police precincts. The Metropolitan Police Department, at the pinnacle of Tokyo's police hierarchy, was vastly more authority than local precincts. But since many officers wind up needing to work with both, the outright rivalry between the two isn't as notable as TV dramas may make it seem. Bronze statue of a dog erected in 1934. The dog was famous for loyally waiting for his absent master. Well known as a meetup spot outside of Shibuya Station, other popular meetup spots at the station are the display car for the original Tokyo 5000 series, commonly known as the Green Frog, and the Moya statue by the west entrance. Oh, the Green Frog is basically like a subway-like car, basically, looking thing. Okay. The Moya statues, yeah. I wonder who made the Moya statues. I've seen them before in, like, games and such like that, or, like, maybe TV, like, commercials or something, but I don't know what the real purpose of them was, but they're kind of they're creepy to look at in a way, but interesting yet still. But they got a creepy vibe to them. Anyway, here refers to HQ. Here refers to the Metropolitan Police Department, the Tokyo Police Section, responsible for managing 101 precincts within the city, Japan's largest police organization. And in addition to policing Tokyo, it was various other duties and authorities for maintaining public order in the capital. Okay, anyway, Kano and his partner were just there to provide backup if the kidnapper attempted to flee. Look, just try to relax, we'll be fine. Sasayama gave him a wink. A moment later, the radio squawked in Kano's ear. Alright everyone, it's time. Keep your eyes open. The voice coming in through the earpiece was Koji Kuze, HQ's operations director. Until last year, he'd been the Shibuya precinct's head detective and Kano supervisor. We don't know when the perp is going to make contact. Don't let your guard down. Kuze's low, gravely voice echoed in Kano's ear. You don't sound too worried, Kuze. Kano winced at Sasayama's words. How could that man be so nonchalant? The point in time had come and gone. Something shouldn't be happening. Whap! Kano smacked himself in the thigh to release a little tension. The sound was louder than he'd intended, though the suit hid his muscular physique. It did a little to dampen the noise. He needed to stay focused. He might be called to action at any moment. The department handled abduction cases according to a certain standard investigation procedure. Was it an attempt to extort money, or was the motive something personal? The answer to that question determined how they deal with the criminal. And based on the investigation team's initial findings this time around, they probably weren't dealing with a professional kidnapper. Still, in all likelihood, it was someone with quite a long rap sheet. Probably someone who knew the family, and so far they had few leads on who might bear such a grudge. With the situation so unclear, the plan was to apprehend whoever came to make the handoff on site. If the culprit ran with the money, there'd be no guarantee of the hostage's well-being. Still nothing. Sasayama muttered. There he is. He's here. Kuze broke in, his voice spiking into an excited chirp. What? Kuze's particular vocal quirk. Whenever he gets overly flustered, excited, or panicked, he slips into a childish register, prone to babbling and pitching his voice. Okay. Subject is a young male in his 20s. wearing a bandana and an orange hoodie. Kuze, normally calm and stoic, was now squawking like an excited child. That only happened when he got particularly worked up. Kano and Sasayama steeled themselves. They could see the subject now. 20-something male nonchalantly approached Hitomi to talk to her. Alright people, be ready to grab this guy. Kuze was stationed in the mobile command center not far from the intersection, keeping tabs on the situation via video surveillance from the camera team. The young man started speaking enthusiastically to Hitomi. The detectives watched uncertain. Was this really the kidnapper? Hey, that's got to be him. Kano took a step forward, then hesitated. The situation still wasn't entirely clear. Okay, I can't read it. You'll encounter selections like these during the story. These choices will change the lives of other people, in addition to changing your own fate. Use up and down to make your choice and press X. The current choice will not impact you or any of the other protagonists. Don't tell me that. Leave me in suspense. Okay. Hey, that's got to be him. Kano took a step forward, then hesitated. B. The situation still wasn't entirely clear. He needed to get a better look at things. I'm gonna go with B. The situation still wasn't entirely clear. He needed to go to the guy. The newcomer held a bundle of letter-sized paper which he showed Hitomi as he went on talking. He tried to hand her one of the papers, but she pointedly ignored him. Undeterred, the man kept trying to foist it off on her. Hitomi refused to respond, becoming as motionless as a statue of Hachiko behind her, until finally the man gave up and walked away. Guess it wasn't him. Kano felt the tension of the moment linger in his spine. Guy must have been hitting on her, Sasayama muttered. I mean, she is pretty cute and all. He had a point. Though, of course, something in Sasayama's voice made Kano brace himself. She's got nothing on my Mi-chan. Love this music. Mi-chan was Sasayama's wife. They'd gotten married just last month. Let me tell you, Kano, married life is the best. You gotta hurry up and give it a try for yourself. This was Sasayama's favorite topic lately, and Kano was getting more and more fed up with it. Sasayama, come on, just knock it off, okay? The phrase had become a common refrain of his since the department partnered them. Fine, fine. Let's talk about your girlfriend then. I'm gonna take a look at something here quickly. Yep. Succeeding at meeting someone on the fly like this takes a special knack. Looks at are also important. Sometimes, of course, the person trying to get your attention out of nowhere is just trying to make a sales pitch for a product or a nearby establishment. First glance, it isn't always easy to tell the difference. Okay. Huh? Now? You can't be serious. Sasayama leaned in close again. What's she like? We're not having this conversation. Kano muttered, looking away. Oh, come on. Sasayama set his hand on Kano's chest, still playing the homeless troublemaker. Show me your phone. Let me see your lock screen. Huh? Sasayama pawed for the phone. You've got a pic of your girl on your lock screen, yeah? I do not. But he did. It was scary how the mark Sasayama's instincts were. How on the mark, okay? Hey, cut it out. We're in the middle of an investigation. I am investigating. Sasayama chuckled as he plucked the phone from Kano's pocket. His face scrunched up with astonishment as he looked at the lock screen. The heck is this? It's not. Ain't this Masami Nagahama? A national star tends to play the heroine on national morning soap operas or in national historical dramas. Her songs have been a series of national hits, and she's been Or she's even slated to host the year-end National Singing Competition program. Everything about her is national. Kano realized he had to bite the bullet. No, that's my girlfriend. Her name is Rumi, and she's... Sasayama cut him off. You're telling me this ain't Masami Nagahama, the famous actress? Because this right here isn't Masami Nagahama. Like I said, you sly old dog, trying to make it look like you're dating Masami Nagahama. I'm not. I mean, I guess Rumi does kind of look like her? Sasayama let out a huff. For real? You really think I'm gonna fall for that? There's nothing to fall for, I swear. Sasayama scowled, unconvinced. Alright, then, why don't you marry her? Kano stammered, but he had no answer. The truth was, he would have happily married her already. Okay, there's gotta be a reason that they're not showing her eyes and her nose. So, they are probably keeping her face distinctively hidden because it's gonna play some type of, like, surprise in the end, is my guess. Or a surprise someone in the story. Like, maybe she's the person who kidnapped the person. Like, they could be showing an image, like a woman, like, at some point, and we don't know who she is, because when they talk to her, she'll go under by a different name, and until actually one of these people look at her, and then they're like, oh my god, that's that woman. I don't know. I'm just probably grasping at straws here. It's kind of actually doesn't really make sense, because if she's known nationally, then obviously, you know. But anyway. But there were obstacles that needed to be overcome. Okay. Excuse me. Playtime's over. Let's focus on the job. Sasayama handed back Kano's phone and turned his gaze back to Hitomi. Kano let out a quick, uneasy sigh. Kano let out a quick, uneasy sigh, not quirk. But his shoulders did feel looser. Maybe Sasayama had been trying to relieve a bit of the tension. Maybe he should be grateful. By now, several minutes had passed since the guy with the papers had gone away. He peered at Hitomi. The strain on her face was visible. In addition to the weight of the attached case itself, the 10,000 yen bills had held weight close to 6 kilos. Her slender arms must have been getting tired. Still, she refused to set the case down. She wasn't taking any chances with her sister's life. The kidnapping case had begun that day, before at around 7 p.m. This is MPD Dispatch. The Shibuya precinct is reporting a missing person believed to be an abduction. The Japanese law, the act of indirectly luring or deceiving someone into control of a third party is known as kidnapping. Using forcible threats or violence to achieve the same result is known as abduction. Subject is Maria Ozawa, a 19-year-old student at Midoriyama Academy, last seen at the LL Diner near campus. A man was allegedly seen forcing her into a car nearby. All officers in the vicinity report to the scene at once. Kano and Sasayama had been working a burglary case in Jinyumei's 5th district when they got the call. The two arrived at the LL Diner at 7:15 p.m. At roughly the same time, several other officers showed up to secure the area, blocking off an entry to nearby roadways and monitoring the surrounding establishments. Inside the restaurant, Kano and Sasayama were met by the girl who reported the kidnapping. It was the victim's twin sister, Hitomi. Could you tell us about Maria was taken, starting from the very beginning? Kano said, keeping his voice low. My sister and I, we were supposed to go to a party together today. Hitomi was trembling, her voice hoarse. But I messed up the time. I showed up right at 7, an hour later than I was supposed to. So Maria had gone alone to the party, a mixture for mixer for locals and exchange students. Hitomi, arriving late, had showed up just in time to glance out through the restaurant window and see her sister getting shoved into a car. She described the vehicle as a blue station wagon of Japanese make. Why? Why would something like this happen to her? Hitomi held back her tears, but she was shaken all over. Did you get a good look at the kidnapper? Yes, it was a man, middle-aged. There was another eyewitness, Leland Palmer. He identified himself as a lecturer at Hitomi and Maria's school. I saw too. It's like Hitomi says. I heard Hitomi cry out, and so I went to the window to look. And his Japanese was halting, as if he hadn't been in the country very long. And I think that maybe the kidnapper was working alone. Leland explained that he'd seen the man shove Maria in the back seat, then clamber into the driver's seat. If he had an accomplice, wouldn't they have been driving? Neither Hitomi nor Leland had gotten a look at the suspect's face. Kano was interviewing others who had been on the scene, looking for other potential witnesses when his phone rang. It was Yoshio Kajiwara, one of the senior detectives. We've set up a task force for the investigation. Get back to the station once you have a handle on the situation there. Barely half an hour had passed between the time the kidnapping was reported and the time the task force began operation. 420 Task Force. Roughly 150 people were working on the case in the Shibuya's precinct conference room. The main force at the work is HQ's first special investigation unit. Additionally, other detective sections, a riot squad, and investigators from neighborhood precincts have been assembled. When Kano and Sasayama got back to the precinct station, Kuze had already arrived from HQ. He informed them a response team had been formed to investigate the victim's home. In a case where someone has been abducted for ransom, it is often difficult to resolve the situation without cooperating with the victim's family. But the family can also be a hindrance in making an arrest. To help guide the family's actions, a response team is assembled and stationed at the victim's home, led by an investigator with the proper training. Kano could feel a peculiar tension in the air. Unfamiliar MPD detectives scurried to and fro around the Shibuya offices. He pulled one of them aside to get a quick update. An hour had now passed since the kidnapping. There had been one new development. The perpetrator and made a threatening call to the victim's home. He said the following: tomorrow, 10 a.m. by Hachiko and Shibuya. Have the sister Hitomi bring 50 million yen. If not, the girl's life is forfeit. Kajiwara from the precinct was put on the response team, along with detectives from elsewhere who had received special training in abduction cases. Normally, a local precinct detective wouldn't have gone undercover in the victim's home. Kuze, however, had decided that having a knowledgeable local was crucial and had sent Kajiwara along. The detectives disguised themselves as delivery people and movers to make their way inside without arousing suspicion, arriving there at 8:30. The response team had come prepared to run a trace if the kidnapper contacted the family a second time. The act of pinpointing the source of an incoming phone call, the police are not allowed to do this independently without oversight. There must be through a formalized process that includes securing the cooperation of the phone company. In the past, conducting the trace itself would take time, but nowadays acquiring the location can be practically instantaneous. But there was no further calls. Kano checked his watch again. 20 minutes had now passed since the time designated for the ransom handoff. The kidnapper had yet to appear. Crap, you think we might have spooked him? He wondered aloud. Hey, stay calm. Sessayama scanned the passing throng. He's just playing with us. Why'd this guy even pick this place? Kano voiced the question he'd been asking himself since he heard the kidnapper's demands. Sessayama shrugged. Figure he must want to blend in with the crowd, nab the money, and disappear before anyone knows he's there, would be my guess. In that case, why not pick Shinjuku or Ginza? The big crowd didn't just benefit the kidnapper after all. It also allowed the police to use the sea of people to conceal their own operation. Right now, there were 50 detectives stationed within the 50-meter radius of where Hidomi stood. The kidnappers would be taking a major risk if his plans was to nab the ransom money and run. That's what bothered Kano. Any criminal with half a brain would know better than to do a handoff in front of Hachiko. You're overthinking things, pal. Sessayama grumbled. No, I'm not. Kano reached into his pocket and pulled out his notepad. This was Kano's dick diary, which he always kept close at hand. Yeah, apparently it's got a bunch of dicks in there. So I could go totally lewd with this, but I won't. Anyway, Sessayama rolled his eyes. That thing again? Kano ignored him, flipping through his notepad pages. Aha, here it is. Dictum, number 89. There are more irrelevant... Okay, the more irrelevant something seems, the more relevant it's bound to be. It was a favorite saying of Kyuzo Tadeno, an assistant inspector from the Shibuya precinct. Tadeno was the kind of detective Kano aspired to be. For the current operation, he'd be placed in charge of Hidomi's personal safety. He was in position to defend her as soon as the ransom had been handed off. Of course, Hidomi hadn't been informed of how much protection she was under. There was a risk that if she acted too secure, it might alert the kidnapper. Okay. I think Tadeno has the right idea. Sessayama snorted quietly. Maybe I mean he's a great detective. Don't get me wrong. But you do know how many irrelevant things there are to consider? Again, Kano ignored him. It didn't matter, nobody else understood. Kano had faith in Tadeno as both a detective and as an individual. He had first witnessed Tadeno's brilliance during the standoff at a financial company 3 years earlier. A man had shut himself in an office, splashing gasoline everywhere and threatening to set the place ablaze. While the others hesitated, Tadeno, unflinchingly, doused himself with gasoline and strode into the building, where he managed to talk the man down and secured the scene. The others had been awestruck by Tadeno's actions, and Kano, who at the time had been content to be a run-of-the-mill policeman, had found it quite inspiring. He's got a death wish. Still, you know. Sessayama murmured under his breath. As great a detective as Tadeno is, it's not like anyone else in the world has ever heard of him. I suppose not, Kano said. So? Only time anyone ever hears a cop's name is if he's caught up in some scandal or killed in the line of duty. I mean, doesn't really seem fair, does it? Kano just shrugged. It was a strange definition of unfair, really. I mean, you've got celebrity chefs and celebrity hairdressers and stuff. So, how come no celebrity gumshoes, you know? Look, please. Can you just focus on what we're doing here? Kano rubbed his eyes, then turned his attention back to Hidomi. What's the matter? Didn't sleep? Not enough, I guess. Did you eat? Didn't have time. Between bringing in spies for the base of operations, readying the team's vehicles. Okay. Base of operations. The base of operations is usually set up in a large room or precinct. Or at the precinct, such as an auditorium. MPD precinct investigators assemble there, and communications equipment, investigation resources, and such are brought in. Because of the scale and scope of these activities, reporters can be liable to notice, and so in case such as kidnapping, where a victim's personal safety is at stake, the flow of information is tightly controlled. Photocopying hundreds of documents and various other tasks. Kano had barely slept in the previous night and hadn't gotten a meal in either. What have you been doing? Sasayama puffed out his chest. Saving up my energy for today. So you were sleeping. Kano gave a wry chuckle at his partner's lack of shame. There he is. Kuse's voice chirped suddenly through Kano's earpiece. The man in his 20s wearing a sleeveless red jacket. He's carrying a garbage bag. A young man had emerged from the crowd, about 15 feet from where Hidomi was standing. He strode toward her, a sinister look on his face. He then mentioned Hidomi's description, but Kano felt a jolt of nerves all the same. Maybe the kidnapper had hired some young street punk to snatch the ransom payment. That our guy? What do you think, Kano? Sasayama whispered. Yeah, I think he's got to be. This was it. Kano swallowed a lump in his throat. He bent his knees, ready to act fast. Blood rushed to his legs, muscles banishing the stiffness that had begun to take hold. Could this be the culprit? Or perhaps... The young man tried to snatch the briefcase from Hidomi, but she clung to it with desperate strength. It was him. The detectives rushed in. Whoa, hey, what the hell? The young man cried out frantically and tried to dart away, but the officers closed in, forcing him bodily to the ground. Target secured. Oh, geez, I think we've got another suspect on the scene. Eek! He's taking the ransom! Kuse's hysterics made Kano spin around. Sure enough, a foreign-looking man was sprinting away, attached case in hand. The mob of detectives scrambled to pursue. Before Kano could react, most of them had run off, leaving him to look after the original suspect. You had one job. What should I do with this guy, sir? Might have some connection to the kidnapper. Should I bring him in? Huh? Oh, sure, that'd be swell. I'm on it. With the help of one of the remaining detectives, Kano brought the suspect back to Shibuya precinct. Look, how many times do we have to go through this? Cut the crap. In the interrogation room, the young man who gave his name as Eiichi Endo steadfastly insisted on his innocence. Why did you try to steal that case? Kano watched Eiichi's face intently. Like I said, it looked heavy, so I was just trying to help her out. It wasn't inconceivable that a young guy would want to help a pretty girl, but Hidomi had just been standing there hardly in desperate need of assistance. She hasn't set the case down, so I figured there had to be something important inside. An entry from Kano's Dick diary shot through his mind. Dick Dictum number 25. When the tongue slips, grab it and yank out the truth. I'm glad it said tongue and not something else. Classic advice for questioning. Something important, you say, such as, how the heck would I know? Eiichi spat. He huffed and slumped back in his chair. This standard textbook back and forth had been going on for nearly an hour. Kano didn't mind. Chasing down criminals was all well and good, but questioning suspects were another key part of the job. Plenty of off-the-scene work went into cracking the case. Once again, he had H.E. explain that what he'd been doing from the start, or been doing starting from the beginning. When Kano finally emerged from the interrogation room for a short break, he learned that there had been some progress on the case at the crime scene. What the police hadn't been able to determine yet, however, was whether or not Maria was safe. Fighting back his anxiety, Kano consulted his dick diary. Dictum number 54. Haste makes waste. He felt his tension subside, remembering the right maxim always helped. It was like casting a magic spell. Kano returned to confront H.E. once more. You were there to act as a distraction, to mess up the investigations. Weren't you? Huh? H.E. looked a bit dumbfounded. What are you on about? Dictum number 55. The truth hungers to be free. You hungry? Got some katsudon, if you like. Katsudon. Japanese dish consisting of a bowl of white rice topped with breaded pork, cutlet, and egg. Yeah, that killed it. There are several variations, such as sauce katsudon, where the egg is replaced with Worcestershire sauce. Yes! That's what I'm talking about. I actually like Worcestershire sauce. I mean, I only have it in certain meals, but I mean, I can actually eat that. Not like egg. Eggs are... Ugh, I don't like eggs. Anyway, back to this reading. Anyway, and miso katsudon, where the pork is stewed in miso. Not typically the sort of thing a policeman offers a suspect during an interrogation. This could be seen as baiting with food, and is to be avoided. H.E. nodded silently. H.E. devoured the bowl of katsudon with gusto. He looked like he hadn't eaten in a while. Alright, then spill it. What's this guy after? H.E. just shrugged. Oh, he murmured, a thick slice of egg, laden pork between his teeth. How many accomplices do you have? Kano asked. But H.E. just shook his head as he inhaled his food. Redesignedly, Kano flipped through his notebook once more. Let's see, number 115. Use the lights to your advantage. As the minutes ticked past, he found himself referring to his book again and again, trying a dozen different methods to tease out whatever his suspect might be hiding. The experience began to feel strangely surreal. Their two voices echoing hollowly in the interrogation room. Eventually, Kano looked at the clock and realized that the questioning had been going on for nearly 5 hours. He still hasn't made headway. Or hasn't made any headway, whatever. What was he supposed to do next? Tatano would know, but he sure didn't. Still, he was determined to do whatever he could do to keep the victim and her family safe. Gritting his teeth in frustration, he pursued the dick diary like it was scripture. Number 116. The monotonous questioning was cruelly tiring H.E. out. His eyelids drooped like they were beginning to get heavy. Number 117. Get 'em when they're tired. Kano's eyes gleamed. You're part of some criminal gang, huh? Ichi's head slumped forward heavily. Nodding off was basically the same as nodding yes, right? Mr. Kuze, I did it. Oh, God. The young guy we grabbed at the handoff site, he finally confessed to the crime. What? What are you talking about? Kuze laughed in disbelief. We're just about to apprehend the mastermind here. Huh? Kano clutched his cell phone, dumbstruck. Listen, why don't you, look, just wait there at HQ, okay? No. It can't be. After the kidnapping case wrapped up, Kano tendered his resignation. Guess I'm not cut out to be a detective after all, he thought to himself. He dropped the Dick diary on his desk as he left the Shibuya precinct for the last time. Bad end. Number 1. So long, Shibuya. Kano wound up at a bad end. However, this does not mean that the choice he made for Kano was the wrong one. One of the other protagonists, Ichi Endo, has an impact on Kano's fate here. You can avoid a bad end by making proper decisions. In another character story for a detailed hint, check the tip by underlining the bad end title, then press square in the next. Kano had every reason to suspect Ichi Endo, but arresting him turned out to be a mistake. If Ichi hadn't approached Hidomi, this wouldn't have happened. Try playing Ichi's story up to 10:30 and make a choice that keeps him from going up to her. If you do that, Kano won't even have a chance to arrest him, and things should play out differently. Hold on a moment. Okay. I doubt the demo will let me do that, but we'll see what happens. You can now select Ichi Endo, one of the other protagonists. Let's follow Ichi's story for a little while. Ichi Endo called out at the door to his father's room. Okay, I'm headed out. Sure. His father sounded unconcerned. He didn't even open the door. Sure, you don't want me to stay here in the shop? It's not like we're gonna get any customers. Ichi grimaced. Yeah, I guess not. The drawer by the front door held a stack of heavy-duty trash bags. Ichi pulled a few of them out. Guess it's gonna be that kind of day. He stuffed the trash bags into his pockets, then slipped on his favorite pair of sneakers. The entryway to Ichi's home also led into the family shop. Various pieces of electronics were piled up like so much junk in the tiny retail space. The slightest bump brought the risk of an avalanche. Ichi wove his way through the gaps in the appliances like a spelunker exploring the cave. From Shibuya Station, if you make your way past the 109 building, then up through Dogunzaka, you'll come across an old shopping district, nestled in the outskirts of Indo Electronics, in the same place it's been for decades. Within its dimly lit interior, you'll find rows of wares all caked in dust. At a glance, you might well assume the place was closed. A mom-and-pop place like Endo's couldn't compete with the big consumer chains booming through Shibuya. So far, the store had remained in business thanks to the locals who appreciated that they made house calls to do repairs. But things weren't looking good for the future. Ichi, the oldest son and nominal successor to the business, had no interest whatsoever in working there. Ichi stepped out of the shop into the sunny morning air. The good weather lifted his spirits. Alrighty, time to do this. He unfurled one of the big garbage bags, which caught the wind and fluttered like a cape. Then he slowly made his way toward Shibuya Station, scanning his surroundings all the while. Sheesh, this place is filthy. He paused to pick up a plastic bottle that had been tossed on the ground. Then, with a heavy sigh, he slipped the crushed receptacle into his trash bag. He's been picking up trash around town like this for about 6 months now. It had gotten so that the sort of garbage most people would hardly notice stood out to him like a sore thumb. Most days he'd filled his trash bag to the top by the time he made it from his house in Dokonzaga to the train station. Today he was halfway to the station when a woman's anxious voice caught his attention. I'm sorry. I'm in a bit of a hurry here. He looked up and saw a timid-looking woman being confronted by two men, one with brown hair and one with black. From the look of them, he guessed that the men were scouts for some hostess club. He ran into this sort of thing pretty frequently on his trash cleaning walks around town. Another kind of trash to take care of. Ichi quickly interposed himself between the girl and the two recruiters. Hey, can't you see that you're bothering her? Huh? Who are you? Two men glared. Take a hike, pal. Ichi stood his ground. Look, she ain't interested. You're just gonna have to find some other merc. The hustler's annoyance turned to open rage. Well, listen to you. I got a bit of a mouth, huh, buddy? The brown-haired thug smacked his lips around his chewing gum like a dog worrying a bone. How about we take this someplace more quiet, yeah? Well, this means it depends on the person speaking to a young woman. Let's go someplace more quiet. Might suggest a cafe or a park, but to street punks, it means an alley where passerbys are unlikely to interrupt. The girl stood by uneasily watching the goings-on. Hey, take it easy. I'm not looking for trouble. Is that supposed to be an apology? On your knees, beg, pal. The man spat his gum onto the ground. Ichi looked down at the glistening wad of gum on the sidewalk. His last shred of goodwill vanished. You better pick that up right now. What? Didn't you hear me? Because I told you to get down on your knees and back. Ichi's hand shot out, grabbing the man by the jaw. Whoa, easy, pal. The other man's bravado drained from his face. Ichi tightened his grip on the brown-haired hustler's jaw. Sweat dripped from the man's reddening brow. The man struggled, but Ichi just tightened his grip. Gum's a real pain in the ass to clean up after it's gotten stuck to the street, you know. Ever stop to consider that? Wait, are you? The other hustler's panicked eyes had fixed on Ichi's face. Chest, sorry. God, oh crap. That shirt, man. The guy's voice was starting to break. That's Mean Clean. A guy with a Mean Clean shirt. Carrying around a trash bag? That means you're... His face went pale. God. Mean Gleam? The other man echoed the words through his held-shut jaw, tears welling up in his eyes. Get it right, pal. Ichi clenched the man's jaw harder still. It's Mean Clean. Ow, 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 ow. We're sorry, man. You're Ichi, right? Dude, we honestly had no idea. Come on, man. You gotta cut us some slack. The man scrambled to snatch a wad of gum off the street, stuffing it into his pants pocket. Finally, Ichi let go of his companion. The brown-haired hustler's face was twisted with fear. Tears streamed down his cheek. Cheeks. Anyway, gasping out hasty apologies, the two thugs scampered off. Hey, so... A shy smile came to the girl's face. Ryoko Kakinuma, a second-year student of Midoriyama Academy's law school. These hustlers managed to corner her while she was on her way to the part-time job at a cafe. It's a popular plot in trashy e-novels for the main character to fall in love with a hustler like these guys, but such things rarely happen in real life. Thank you for saving me. No, I apologize. Huh? The girl stared in surprise. You'll run into creeps like that now and then, but don't hold it against us. Shibuya's a good town. Yeah. Okay. Ichi gave her a quick wave, then turned and continued on his way down the Dogantaka. Ichi was Shibuya born and raised. He was keenly aware of all the changes the ward had seen since he was a kid. Grocers, stalls, and conspicuous little side streets, tiny parks nestled between buildings. Iki knew it all, like the back of his hand. Trash, human or otherwise, had no place in this town, not on his watch. Ichi made his way down onward Shibuya Station. Throngs of people shuffled to and from across the scramble. The view shifted constantly from one moment to the next, almost as if the city itself were alive. And if the city was a living thing, then Shibuya Station was its heart. With streets like Bunkimuradori and Center Guy serving as the arteries pumping the bloodstream made of people. Today as ever, the heart was pumping that blood to every nook and cranny of Shibuya. And there was Ichi, just another part of this great urban organism. Guess I'm the only one in the city's white blood cells. Wait, guess I'm one of the city's white blood cells, okay? Or wait, maybe I'm a real blood cell. Hold on. Is that right? Or did I have it right the first time? White blood cells eliminate pathogens from the bloodstream. Red blood cells carry oxygen throughout the body. Ichi was probably thinking of white blood cells. Emerging from the reverie, he noticed a rather conspicuous young woman standing by the statue of Hachiko outside Shibuya Station. Ooh, she's totally my type. To be up someone's alley, to be someone's cup of tea. Oh, that's what that means? Okay. Wonder if she's a model or a small-time actress or something. Looks like she's waiting for someone. Probably another guy. Dang. Good looking as she was, there was no way she wasn't already taken. What kind of guy scored a girl like that? Probably the rich-ass CEO of an IT company or something. Crouching down to tie off the trash bag, he continued gazing wistfully at the girl, then he noticed something peculiar. She was carrying an attached case, the kind of businessman might use. It was a large case, and apparently so heavy that she was struggling to hold it despite using both hands. Hey, now that what kind of person makes a young lady lug around something heavy like that? Ichi figured he'd offer to carry it for her. Okay, you've reached a decision point. Let's have Ichi not approach Hitomi. Use up and down to select an option, then press X. But first, I gotta dump this trash. He looked around to see if there was a garbage bin nearby. Now Ichi won't approach Hitomi, which means he will avoid being arrested by Kano. At the same time, Kano's fate will also change. And he will no longer wind up at a bad end. So let's switch back to Kano's story using the time chart. Press triangle to open it. This is a time chart. It shows the protagonist's progression. Through the story, decision points are marked with the arrows. Kano's fate has changed based on Ichi's actions. Select Kano's 1030 block, then press X. I suppose you could call it that. Kano gave it away like a shame. There he is. Guze's voice chirped suddenly through Kano's earpiece. The man in the black coat. He's not Japanese, looks to be in his early 30s. Previously, Ichi got mixed up with Kano and the police, but now another man has appeared instead by changing what Ichi did. You've also changed Kano's story. A foreign man had emerged from the crowd, about 15 feet from where Hiromi was standing. He made his way toward her, his expression blank. He didn't match the description Hiromi had given them, but Kano felt a jolt in nerves all the same. Maybe the kidnapper was using an accomplice as not just a random payment. Alright. Sasayama raised an eyebrow. This may be your guy. This was it. Kano swallowed the lump in his throat. He bent his knees, ready for action. Blood rushed to his leg, muscles, banishing the stiffness that had begun to take hold. Was this the culprit? Or perhaps... The stranger took hold of this attached case. It was him. En masse, detectives began to close in. Let's go, Kano. On it. Sasayama and Kano leapt into action, but they never expected what happened next. With the case at clutch in both arms, the man veered suddenly, running right toward them. Keep out. I'm guessing that's the end of the demo. Kano's story had suddenly hit a keep out. Keep out refers to the point in the story where your progress is currently stopped. In order to advance beyond a keep out, you need to jump from another protagonist's story. At 10:30, Ichi has the text, young man in a suit, set as red keywords. Checking these red keywords will allow you to jump from Ichi's stories back to Kano's. Now, head back to Ichi's story and keep an eye out for that key phrase. Oh my god. Try following the story from Ichi at 10:30. Approach the girl. Okay, I'm still going apparently. Didn't think I'd still continue. Oh, a man came up inside the girl. He was dressed in black and he wasn't Japanese. It looked like they were having a conversation. The girl nodded tensely at something the man said. Ichi stared. Something tells me that's not her boyfriend. The girl handed the attached case over to the man. Bless me. Sorry, folks. Didn't mean to sneeze in your ear. He took hold of it with his right hand and began walking briskly away. Whoa! A nearby homeless man suddenly leapt over Ichi and broke into a run as if he'd been waiting for this very moment. Yuji Sasayama, a detective in the Shibuya precinct known as the Cosplay Detective. Due to the strange outfits he wears while on stakeouts, he's partnered with Shinya Kano for the kidnapping investigation. Cosplay detective, that's kind of funny. Sprinting alongside him was a young man in a suit. Some words in the text appear as red text denotes important keywords that let you jump between different protagonists. Stories. This allows you to shift between characters at specific points. These can also allow you to clear out a keep out and another character's story and let you read on. If you come across red text, press square to underline it and press X. A window will appear and allow you to jump from one protagonist to another at that point, then press X to continue. The other character's story after the keep-out, give it a try. By performing a jump from this screen, you can advance another protagonist story past a keep-out. Press X to confirm and jump over to Kano's story. Let's go, Kano. On it. Since Yama and Kano leapt into action, you did jump successfully in 428. You will often need to jump to get past another character's keep-out jump from red keywords clear keep-out. Keep this in mind as you advance through the story. Okay, there won't be any more tutorial messages for a while. If you get stuck somewhere, try changing protagonists or making different decisions to advance. You can now use the time chart and the main menu. From the main menu, you can access gameplay, explanations, and adjust settings. Press triangle to open the time chart and press options to open the main menu. But they never expected what happened next. With the case of clutch in both arms, the man suddenly veered, running right toward them. What? Catching sight of the two detectives, the suspect staggered to a halt and then bolted off in a new direction. Kano whipped off his costume glasses and followed in hot pursuit. And a banana peel? Okay. His suit is a banana peel? I don't remember him holding a banana. Anyway. At the crosswalk, the signal changed to red, and the flow of foot traffic abruptly halted. Just as quickly, hundreds of cars all lurched back into motion. There was no escape for the culprit now, or so it appeared. The converging cops slowed their pace, confident their man was cornered. Then the foreigner barreled straight into the intersection, dodging between the oncoming cars without any hesitation. The mob of detectives came to a halt, not eager to rush to their deaths along with them. Kano, however, remained in hot pursuit, charging into the traffic at the crossing. Kano, are you crazy? Come back! Kano heard Sasayama shouting, but his feet kept carrying him onward. With shouts and sirens echoing all around him, Kano closed in on the foreigner. Just a little closer. Just a little closer and he'd be in tackling range. He leaned forward, preparing to pounce, his eyes fixed on the culprit's feet. It was now or never. Kano, back off! Don't take him down. It was Kuze shouting through Kano's earpiece. Huh? Kano hesitated in surprise. Had he really just been ordered not to apprehend the criminal? Let him go for now. The real perp is someplace else. Perp is police jargon for perpetrator. Here, Kuze is referred to the fact that the principal offender in the case must be elsewhere. What had happened to the plan? He'd been told that all personnel were to secure the area ASAP. Didn't HQ want them to catch the perpetrator? Arrest team, stay on the foreigner's trail. UA Suckese James J. Or Ames J. Lol. Haha, very funny, Dave. How was Turkey Day, Dave? Anyway, police team dedicated exclusively to the task of apprehending the criminal. While kidnapping case is in progress, the roles of the officers involved are carefully designated so that every officer is ready to take immediate action as the situation develops. Typically, tried and true veteran MPD officers are put in charge of teams for breaking into buildings or apprehending the suspect. Forensics team, get busy cross-referencing photos. Team deployed by the MPD to handle the actual tests and techniques of on-scene investigations, such as collecting and comparing fingerprints, apparently, fingerprints, and analyzing photos of suspects. Even if this foreigner was only an underling hired for this one task, the police had now tipped their hand that they've been lying in wait. If they didn't lock things down now and get more info on the kidnapper, a girl's life might be at stake. Kano recalled another maxim from his Dick diary. Dick dictum number 12. Always assume a worst case scenario. If Kyusei had told him to let this guy go, that implied he was counting on the team that was now in position. But if the crook had planned a way to break through the police dragnet and escape with the ransom, and he succeeded, what was the right call here? Should he take this guy down or back off after all? A. Letting the perp escape now is too big of a risk. He had to catch this guy ASAP. B. Let the other officers chase after this guy. Kano had his own job to do. See, I know I'm hilarious. Turkey Day was good. How was yours? Back in October it was good. Also, what the fuck are you playing? It's, I didn't know what type of game it was. I just heard that the game was, like, crazy and had an interesting plot. I didn't know what kind of game it was that I was getting into. And apparently it's a text-based game where you, like, decide, like, think a text-based version of, like, a game like, say, Heavy Rain. Where it's like, hey, you're playing as this character, here's the conversations that are happening, and everything behind things are just like photos, and you get to choose what, you know, what it is that you're doing. Right now I'm just playing a demo of this game. It's called 428 Shibuya Station, I think it's called. So anyway, so it's just a story like driven game, like, you know, like Heavy Rain, except it's all text based. Alright, so let the other officers chase the other guy. You know, I'm gonna catch him. Letting the perp escape now is too big of a risk. He had to catch this guy ASAP. The man darted down a narrow alleyway. Kano ran faster. The man sprinted through the side streets. Evidently he knew his way around Shibuya pretty well. Eep! Someone's taken Hitomi. Kano recognized Kyusei's trademark squawk immediately. Subject is male, he appears to be carrying a gun. He's fleeing in the direction of Meiji Dori. What? Kano could hardly believe it. Hitomi had been kidnapped? Had she been abducted by whoever had taken Maria? But why? Someone must have been waiting for the moment when the police took their eyes off her. Something's very wrong here. What in the world is going on? Kano saw that the road forked up ahead. The man with the attached case ran to the left. If the man who'd taken Hitomi was heading towards Meiji Dori, there was a good chance he'd gone down one of the alleyways off to the right. Making a snap judgment, Kano told the detective behind him to follow the case snatcher, then turned and headed down the nearest alley. After darting through the side streets, he spotted a different man and another foreigner crossing the intersection a few dozen meters ahead. The man was dressed in black, just like the guy who'd grabbed the ransom money. Kyusei's right, the kidnapper wasn't acting alone. But wait, something was amiss. Hitomi isn't with him. Where was she? Kano skidded around the corner and then stopped short. The man in black was standing there pointing the gun right at him. Before Kano could react, the man fired. Kano felt hot all over, as if he were on fire. All except for his cheek pressed against the asphalt and the palms of his hands, they felt so cold. There was nothing he could do. Nothing, that is, except lie there and watch as the killer turned and walked away. Whatever. Same thing. Bad end. Number 4. Shot by a foreigner. By trying to find the man who'd taken hit on me, Kano ran into a different criminal, and unfortunately for him, he got shot. If the criminal hadn't been able to get near Hitomi, she probably wouldn't have been taken. Have Ichi make the choice to talk to Hitomi instead at 10:35. Let's see. Well, did you buy anything during Black Friday? I think I might buy the Amazon Fire tablet. I'm planning on getting that tomorrow. The reason why I'm trying to go for it tomorrow is because if I use my card, it's going to be on this bill for that's coming at the beginning of December. Because the 24th is usually the cutoff date to like where things get charged, like, you know, for the my very soon next bill to be gotten. So I was waiting until the 25th, so that purchase will be on my January bill for December's. And I will say this, Dragon Quest XI was on sale for Black Friday here for like $50, but I'm passing on it because I just, well, like I said, with Dragon Quest Heroes 2, you know, like since I never really got a day one like I planned through Amazon because of how Amazon carried itself with like its E3, I decided I can wait a little longer for, you know, buying it. So yeah, $35 for you guys, but it's $50 here. 50 is the cheapest, actually. And that's the physical copy. I'm not talking about PSN sales or anything like that. For $35, that's pretty good, though. Okay, kind of want to go back to this. Yeah. Alright. Kuze's instruction had been clear. Let the other officers chase after the guy. Kano had his own job to do. He broke off his pursuit, pointing the next wave of detectives in the direction the foreigner had fled. Kano had almost gotten close enough to get a good look at the guy's face, but if Kuze had ordered him to let the guy go, well, his boss should know what he was doing. The perp was someone else's problem now. He had just seized his pursuit when Kuze's panicked voice sounded shrill in his ear. Eep! Someone's taken hit on me. Can't organize. Yeah, okay, I read that before. Kano hurried to search for the man who'd taken Hitomi. If he was heading toward Meiji-dori, there was a good chance he'd gone down one of the alleyways nearby. After darting through the side streets, he spotted a different man, another foreigner, crossing the intersection a few dozen meters ahead. Oh god, it's back to this again. The kidnapper wasn't acting well, but wait, something was amiss. No, he wasn't with the mercy. I'm going to stop short. Back at it again. Good grief. $35 for Dragon Quest XI is pretty good. But our Black Fridays isn't as good as yours. fourth guy I gotta play is Aki. ACHI. I was just wondering if, like, something else would have played it if I selected the other thing. Okay. Then seemingly from everywhere, a whole bunch of other guys burst into motion. First one, then another, a third, a fourth, a fifth. Over a dozen now. What the heck? Clearly something big was going down. Were they after the attached case? Within moments, Ichi lost sight of them all through the crowd. With that many people chasing them, the guy with the case was sure to get caught. But wait, what about that girl? Ichi turned back around. The girl was still there. She was staring in the direction that the man who'd taken the case had gone, a worried expression on her face. Iggy couldn't shake the feeling that something was very wrong. Maybe he should go talk to her and ask what was going on. Be another crazy day in Shibuya. They had to be shooting the scene for a film on location. It'd probably be a mistake to intrude. I should press B. I should go for it. So did you get anything for Black Friday there, Dave? I know you don't go shopping, but I mean, you could have got something online, right? Let's see. Well, this does say to press A. Maybe I should. No, I'm going to go with B. See what happens. Another crazy day in Shibuya. True. Yeah, I bet that's what this was. This is some TV show about a kidnapping and the girl had to make a ransom handoff. And there's probably some actor looking around here playing the suave, handsome detective. Aki gave a chuckle and turned away. A soothing breeze blew by. A wispy clouds drifted overhead. They picked a nice day for a shoot. Smiling inwardly, he resumed his trash-picking mission, wondering what other surprises the day would hold. A few moments later, he heard a loud bang, and the scramble went into an uproar. Huh? Someone blew a tire? People were running from all the directions to see what had made the sound. Oh, maybe they're shooting an action scene now. Iggy was a tad bit curious, but he strolled away from the scramble without looking back. Maybe he led out of Yotsuya today to stretch his legs a bit. The neighborhood of the Shinjuku Ward in the southeastern part of Tokyo, located approximately 4 kilometers out northeast of Shibuya Station. While the numbers 4, -2, -8 in Japanese can be pronounced... 428, okay. I thought they were giving me a math equation there for a moment. Can be pronounced the same as syllables for the name Shibuya. They can also be pronounced like the syllables for Yotsuya. Additionally, April 28th is both Shibuya Day and Yotsuya Day, along with Seniors Day. It was best not to get distracted. There was trash that needed collecting. Bad end. Number 7, your future is garbage. Aki decided to go on collecting trash because he decided the commotion and the scramble was probably just a TV shoot in progress. He'll probably have a pretty uneventful day, which is all well and good for him, but the girl was actually in danger, as he had discovered if he had investigated further. He missed the chance to help her out, go back and try making a different choice. Okay, that was pretty funny. I finally got an X-Bone. I feel bad for you. Got AC Odyssey. I was also going to buy a spare PS4, but they sold out. Really? So, where did you buy that from? I imagine the Spider-Man bundles sold out here. And see, here's what I don't understand. 200, I guess 200 American, I guess is like 250 Canadian. Because apparently the Spider-Man bundle down there was going for $200, but up here was going for $250. And even if I did have the money, I probably wouldn't go for it, because I'm just kind of like, whatever. But there was a deal that if I traded in my PS4, I could get the Spider-Man bundle for just $79.99 plus tax. So in other words, basically almost $100. But I would have to trade in my PS4. And there's nothing wrong with my PS4. I like it. There's no sign of it, like, I probably just fucking jinxed myself, but there's no sign of issues with it, let's just say that. So, alright. Let's do that again. Ichi couldn't shake the feeling that something was very wrong. Maybe he should talk to her and ask what was going on. But just as he was making up his mind, a middle-aged man in a ratty business suit shuffled awkwardly over to her first. Oh, it's a pimp. He's got a cane. Was there something wrong with one of his legs? He was using a cane to walk. Then one of his hands slipped into his jacket pocket. Ichi could scarcely believe its eyes. A revolver? Colt Detective Special, a .38 caliber revolver introduced in 1927 by Colt's manufacturing company. Classic example of a snub-nosed revolver. As the name implies, the weapon is frequently carried by detectives, narcotic officers, and the like for self-defense. Suddenly a young man came running through the crowd. Seeing him, the man with the cane turned on his heel and vanished in the scramble. Something big was going down. What is all this? The young man was closing in on the girl, his expression grim. That guy's up to no good. Iki sprang into motion. Hi-ya! Leaping high, Iggy delivered a flying kick, right between the man's shoulder blades. The guy went down, but recovered surprisingly fast, spinning back to his feet to grapple with Iggy. What the hell is your problem? What the hell is your problem, man? Iggy snapped. The two stood staring each other down as the crowd swirled around them. Let go of me. You let go of me first. After you let go of me, sure. You first, pal. Don't you call me pal, man. Don't you call me man, pal. Well, what is that saying? Hey, man, I'm not your buddy, friend. I'm not your friend there, whatever. And then it goes back and forth like that. That's what this reminds me. Neither man was willing to yield. The crowd had parted to avoid the scuffle. Passerbys were staring from all sides. Well, crap. Iggy got a sudden sinking feeling. What the hell am I even doing? I jumped in over my head as usual. His anger melted away. He loosened his grip. Without further argument, the other man let go of Iggy's jacket. Turning quickly away, the stranger hurried over to the statue of Hachiko, where he dropped to his knees, dejected. The girl who'd been standing there was nowhere to be seen. Maybe this was the guy she'd been waiting on. The guy was clearly upset that she was missing. Aki actually felt kind of bad for him. He decided it would be wise to leave while the guy's attention was elsewhere. He hurried back along the road to his house. The wind had gone out of his sails and he didn't feel much like cleaning up trash anymore. Oh well, guess I'll read some manga and go to bed. Better play it safe before the day got any worse. Let's see. Picked up God of War for $17, but it sold out. Hey, it's Cisco from The Flash. Yeah, right. Bad end. 6. Tussle with a stranger. Iggy's interference with the young man, it was Kano, disrupted the detective's sting. If Iggy hadn't acted on impulse when he saw Kano heading for Hitomi, things might have gone differently, but now you can make sure Kano doesn't return to the scramble and startle Iggy. The key lies further along Kano's story. Oh my god. Like, I mean, this game is interesting, but to switch back and forth and then, like, read things slowly and everything, it's just kind of, like, time-consuming. I just kind of wish I could just spam X until I know that I'm going to hit that specific point, then I can read, like, what's new. Okay. But now you can make sure Kano doesn't return to the scramble and startle Aki. Oh my. Anyway. Picked up God of War for $17, but it sold out. Oh, you went... Oh, you... I would also have picked up God of War for $17, but it sold out. Okay, I see what you're saying now. Well, yeah, God of War is going for $30 here. So... Isn't there more places that you could pick up the God of War from? By chance? I wonder if there's... It's no Snatcher or Police Thoughts for sure. Kano headed back to the scramble and took up his post again. Hitomi was still standing at the handoff point. Staring worriedly in the direction that the suspect had fled, no doubt she was wondering why all of a sudden the police had decided to let the guy go. Kano jogged over to Hitomi, but before he could reassure her, Hi-ya! A sudden blow from behind sent him sprawling to the ground. Kano's mind flooded with rage as he scrambled back to his feet. What the hell? He spun around. Oh, with a belligerent young man. What the hell is your problem, Kano snapped. What the hell is your problem? The stranger shot back. Let go of me. You let go of me first. After you let go of me, sure. You first, pal. Don't call me pal, man. Don't call me man, pal. The crowd had begun to stare. Not good. Here he was, causing a scene in public, blowing his cover in the middle of an important case. This was neither the time nor place for some dumb random quarrel. Even as he came to his senses, Kano felt the strength ebb from the stranger's grip. He pushed the man away and quickly turned back toward Hitomi. She was gone. He scanned the area for any sign of her, but she had vanished without a trace. Kyuse's mobile command center had also disappeared. What did I miss? The blood drained from Kano's face. The investigation had left him utterly behind. There wasn't any signal on his radio. They must have switched frequencies while he was caught up in the tussle. Kano turned back to confront the troublemaker. He was gone too. Kano spun on his heel searching, but the young man was nowhere in sight. The attached case had told me the troublemaker he lost all three. Right out of the starting gate, he bungled the entire operation. You should have left Tatano to look after Hidomi and gone after the attached case himself. What the hell was he doing? Kano felt his self-conscious ebbing away like water. Maybe it's time to move back to the sticks. Maybe Tokyo's too fast-paced for a screw-up like me. He had no idea what to do next, and so he just stood there, frozen. Already drafting his letter of resignation in his head. Bad end. Lost sight of the kidnapper. Oh my god. I would have followed 76 but decided to pass and get... Oh god. I looked through this before. Okay, you noticed two people over by a trash pile. At first he appeared to be a young couple. Then looking more closely, he realized the girl was Hidomi. Mr. Kuze, I located Hitomi Asawa. The couple took off running. The rough-looking guy dragged Hidomi by the hand. She's with a man in his 20s. It looks like she's been led away against her will. Clarify, please, Kuze demanded. What's going on? I'm not sure. What's this guy, a member of some criminal group? It looked like the two were running away from something. Alright, we'll handle the foreigner. You go after Hidomi. Got it. Kano sprang in action. Stop right there. The young man glanced back at Kano, but rather than stopping, he picked up speed, continuing to drag Hidomi along with him. She didn't seem quite able to keep up. Kano knew he could catch them. He tried to close the distance in a sprint. After a short distance, the young man stopped, realizing he couldn't outrun his pursuer. Shielding Hidomi behind him, he glowered at Kano. Why did you run off? Kano demanded. Because you were chasing us. A blatant lie. People didn't just bolt like that without good reason. The young tough started edging away, keeping Hidomi behind him. Kano followed. Look, just let the girl go. The guy glanced back at Hidomi. She shook her head fearfully. Maybe this troublemaker had warned her to keep her mouth shut. You've got this, Kano. Just don't let them out of your sight. Gah! A sudden blow to the top of his head left him staggering. That's his O-face, by the way. His eyes spun as he reeled with vertigo. There was a flapping sound, and a vague black shape wheeled above him. Was that a crow? It was the last thing Kano saw before his vision went dark. Bad and oh my fuck. Was that a crow? Really? No. In the midst of chasing the man who snatched the attached case, Kano happened to cross Hidomi and Ichi. While confronting them, he suffered a blow to the head and knocked out cold, but Ichi only came this way because he thought it was the quickest way to escape with Hidomi. If he'd gone for the police box instead, things might have gone differently. The key is what Ichi does at 10:35. God damn it. I would have gone to Fallout 76, decided to pass and get the DLC for ESO. At least the game is good. Oh, well. Yeah, you know what? I was talking to Arson there about 2 nights ago. It wasn't last night because I was at my friend's. And he was telling me, he was like, man, he goes, did you see, like what people were saying about Fallout 76? People are shitting all over it. And I'm like, oh yeah, I seen that on Metacritic. I said, but that's just the user's thing there. That's usually toxic for every game, because a lot of people who don't even have the game will vote and be like, oh, this game sucks, it's just the same as any other one and all this stuff, or it's a bunch of fanboys for other consoles going, oh, this game sucks because of this, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, even though I got no interest in Fallout 76, you know, there may be some legit people in there, but the thing is it's hard to pinpoint who is legit and who's not legit for their thing there. And then he said, no, and he goes, he says, no, it's the, what do you call it, that's shitting on it. The game journal, the game, or the reviews. And I'm like, really? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, a lot of reviews are shitting on the game. And I'm like, really? Can Bethesda actually go do wrong? I'm actually surprised. And then I went to like Metacritic, and there was only like a handful of like reviews, and a lot of them were like somewhere between like 5 and like 7. But yeah, I have a friend who loves it apparently. Well, I've talked to some people who are like, oh man, that game looks really fun, I gotta buy that game. Oh man, like this game, like I played the beta and it was a lot of fun, like this is like straight up legit like good in that. And I'm like, okay, like, so there's some people who like it, and then there's a lot of, but the critics there seem to be shitting on it. But I've seen from some critics say that that the game has its problems, but it is fun to play when you're like with like friends or whatever. And I look at it and I'm like, it's a Fallout game, I don't fucking care. But yeah, I think it's at 10:35. This is the one I won, I think. Oh, yeah, cheat, never mind. I think this is the one I need. Well, it's like WKC critics despised it, but we found it good, yeah. Like, we had fun playing it. But see, the thing is this. Bethesda can do no wrong. Bethesda is like one of those companies who are just like Rockstar, where it's like, we can make millions of dollars and we can make thousands of sales, and our game is gonna look fucking so dated it's not even funny, and we're gonna have the same engine for the, like, 10 years, but yet nobody ever points this shit out and says this type of stuff about Bethesda. That's why I say Bethesda can do no wrong. Bethesda's right up there with, Rockstar, and, they can't do no wrong. They're the creme of the creme. Like, everything they do, everything they touch is fucking gold. And then there's some people who can't lose sight of, like, this is great, this is wonderful and whatever. Nobody ever says a bad thing about their fucking game usually. And this is what surprised me, that critics were out there going, whoa, this is bad. But it's so bad that they have to make it at least in the 5s and 6s. They wouldn't dare lower it down, past that. So it's either not that bad, that it's just mediocre, or they don't dare to give precious Bethesda lower than a 5, because that would be insane. That's ludicrous. We wouldn't want to give them lower than a 5, because then what? what's that fucking idiot gonna do there? That guy there that works for the company. I can't remember his name. Was it Todd Howard or something like that or whatever? I don't know, I can't remember. Anyway, it's like, yeah, you guys talk about, like, shit about Sony and all this stuff, but you guys can't even, like, make a fucking non-broken game or whatever. I'm not going to get into it, but the thing that, like, I'm not going to get into that rant again, but the thing is that, like, there's people out there that will still sit there and be like, oh, this is a great game and all this stuff, and I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever you say there. Todd Howard, yeah. So, I mean, you know. But the thing is that when people look at, like, a game like White Knight Chronicles, people are going to be like, yeah, it's not a very good game and whatever, blah, 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 and it's like, but did you actually play the online with friends who play those type of games? Because if you didn't, then your review is shit tier. It's not that great. Like, if I was to rate White Knight Chronicles, I would probably, like, to me, like, a 7 is still good, even though to Metacritic standards, it's mediocre. If you're 7 and above, then you're good to even greater. But if you're like 6.5 or 6.9 down to 5, then it's mediocre to me. Anything below that, it's like, oh, this is really fucking bad. Like, you know, stay away from it. Like, play at your own demise. But like I said, though, at the end, it's just like, I looked at it and I'm kind of like, I have no interest in it, obviously. And it's online-only game. The only online game that I really care about is Dead by Daylight. And I think Fallout's not even all that great of a game anyway. And as for Elder Scrolls Online, like, a very, 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 very small part of me wants to get into it and playing it with friends. But another part of me is like, fucking Skyrim ruined Elder Scrolls for me, basically. So, you know. White Knight Chronicles single player 6, online 8.5. Okay, I'll give you that. I will give you that. The single player, I would say, is a 6 or a 6.5 as well. And the online, I would say an 8 or an 8.5. Like, it wasn't perfect, but it was a lot of fun, though. DLC fiasco, 10 out of 10. Anyway. I don't know. Part of me wants to stop playing this because I'm tired of going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. It's like, just, you know, let me do something or whatever. With a single fluid motion, the man lifted up the gun and pointed it in the girl's direction. He was aiming right for her head. The girl had notified the man with the cane, the girl had noticed, not notified, the man with the cane now. Seeing the gun pointed right at her, she froze in fear. Iggy didn't hesitate. Breaking into a full run, he tackled the gunman with all his might. Caught off guard, the man sprawled to the pavement. But the would-be assassin kept hold of his weapon and quickly scrabbled back to his fate. Iggy knew he had to act fast. He grabbed the ashen-faced girl by the arm and attempted to drag her away. "This way," he shouted. She just stared at him, uncomprehending, trembling like a startled animal. "Come on, run." Finally, the girl snapped out of her daze and gave a fearful nod. "Hey, the police box, let's go. B, let's just get out of here." "Yeah, police box. The police box, let's go." Still pulling the girl by the hand, Aki headed for the police box outside the train station. But it was empty. There were always policemen staffing these things. Why did it have to be unmanned now? Aki flashed a worried glance behind him and saw the assassin in pursuit like a man possessed. Yikes, this is not good. There was nothing they could do but run. With the frightened girl in tow, Iggy ran beneath the JR Yamanote line railway overpass. A railway loop line that services the Tokyo metropolis. Typically, the morning rush is quite intense, with the stretch from Ueno Station to Okashimashi Station, sometimes crowded as high as 260% capacity, roughly 300 people riding in a space designed for 143 passengers, unrelated to the Yamate line subway that operates in the city of Kobe. Don't worry, just trust me, he told her. But first, they sped past a convenience store where an employee was cleaning up the sidewalk. Here, take this, will ya? Iggy tossed over the bag of trash. Huh? Wait, what? This way. They slipped through the crowd and into a nearby back alley. But this way's a dead end, the girl said breathlessly. Like I said, trust me. Stopping abruptly, H.E. kicked down a wooden plank covering a gap between two buildings, covering the space that a person could fit through. See, we can get away through here, and you go. But the girl just stood there looking terrified. What's the matter, Iggy asked. Come on, we gotta hurry. She looked at him as if he too was about to pull a gun on her. He could hardly blame her. After all, he was just some random guy who turned up out of nowhere. But this was no time for dawdling. The man with the cane appeared at the end of the alley. If they just stood there, he was going to catch them. Okay, sweetheart, hear me out, he said in a rush. The name's H.E. Endo. I live in the neighborhood, and I'm not the kind to stand idly by when a girl's being chased by some killer. So please just trust me, I'll do my best to keep you safe. He hoped the look in his eyes could convince her he was being on the level. After a painfully long moment, the girl nodded her acceptance. Phew. Right, let's start with this. They had paused beside an enormous stack of beverage crates. With a quick shove, Ichi knocked the whole pile down, ascending across the pursuer's path. Now that was a close call. The man with the cane was floundering, struggling to get past all the fallen crates. My bad, man, Aki called out. Cleaning that up for me? The man scowled back at them and fumbled for his gun. Aki flashed him a wave goodbye and then stepped away between the buildings with the girl. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I do wish you would get ESO. It would be nice to get into a game like that and find some community like we had in White Knight Chronicles again. Yeah, I miss that. Trust me, I do. I don't know. I mean, you were the one that mainly found them, and then you just introduced me to everybody. So it's kind of, you know. Hurrying down the narrow alley, they emerged onto a side street lined with dive bars and clubs. Log Lady? Holy shit! It's a Twin Peaks reference. Log Lady. Anyway. Assuming the man with the cane hadn't given up, he would probably lie in wait on the path back to the main road. Aki decided their best bet was to try to stay inconspicuous rather than risk getting caught on the move. Guess we can lie low here for a bit, he said. He led the girl to the entrance of a tiny old hostess club. She followed him reluctantly. We're here for a lap dance? It's like, alright. Anyway, Aki flicked the switch inside the front door and a chintzy chandelier glowed to life. He sat the girl down on the small sofa beside the counter. She gave him a worried look. Aki felt a pain of embarrassment as he realized what she must be thinking. Oh, no, don't get the wrong idea. I'm not going to try any funny business. Someone I used to know run this place. It's not in business anymore, so I figured we're safe here. The girl chuckled at the evident discomfort. Or at his evident discomfort. Alright then, she said. So, we good? We're good. Okay, well, good. Aki made a vague attempt to straighten his disheveled clothes. So, how about some introductions? I'm Aki Endo, like I said earlier. You can just call me Aki. I'm Hitomi Asawa. You can call me Hitomi, I guess. With each new word of Hitomi's mouth, Aki felt his heart sing. She was charming, personable. Just about everything about her was captivating. Aki had never met another girl like her. Aki? What? Is something the matter? You were spacing out there for a bit. Yeah, I'm a bit of an airhead. I'm just kidding. Aki shook his head to dispel his gaze. Damn it, this is no time to get all starry-eyed. He needed to think of some way to keep her safe from the guy who was after her. Look, can you tell me what the heck is going on? Please, I need to know if I'm gonna help you. Right, okay. I'm not really sure where to begin. Hitomi looked down, lost in thought. Apparently hers was a long story. Alright, she said at last. I guess I'll try to explain things as they happened. Wait, hold up. Could you keep it simple as you can? I mean, I'm not really the sharpest tool in the shed. Complicated explanations ain't exactly my strong suit. Okay, Hitomi chuckled. I'll try my best. She got comfortable and then started her story. So last night somebody abducted my sister. The kidnapper demanded that I make the ransom handoff personally. He told me to stand by the statue at Hachiko and Shibuya at 10 o'clock in the morning to make the exchange, so I did. Okay, never mind, I never even got to read all that. It just skipped on its own. Okay. So I did, and this man came by and took the attached case with the money, and then afterwards, the other guy with the cane turned up and pointed his gun at me, and... Whoa, I'm sorry. Hold up a sec. Aki had suddenly lost the thread of the conversation. Could you say that again? But, like, simpler? 428 lost the thread. At times like this, you can press up to go back and reread what you've already seen. You can also press down to quickly scroll back through the section you already read. A mark will appear in the upper left corner of the screen while you're paging back and forth like this. You can press the X to reread the marked page. Check something here. Okay. Huh? Sure. I'm just having trouble following this all. I mean, is this the plot to some movie or soap opera? No, that's not. Or some kind of hidden camera show? This is real. This really happened. The look in Hitomi's eyes were dead serious. She's got to be telling the truth. What would be the point of lying? And he had seen the attached case and the gunman himself. How much was the ransom, if you don't mind me asking? Hitomi hesitated. 50 million yen, she said after a moment. Iggy gave a whistle of amazement. The detectives told me that was a typical amount for a kidnapper to ask for. It's plenty, that's for sure. I guess there's good money in that sort of thing. As soon as the words were out, he realized his blunder. Sorry, I shouldn't have put it that way. He fidgeted awkwardly and Hitomi looked away. I'm an idiot, but okay, I think I get this kidnapping thing. So I'm guessing those guys who chased the guy who took the ransom were undercover cops. He replayed the scene in his head. But then, the kidnapper took the attached case and ran, right? So if you were empty-handed, why'd that guy with the cane come after you? I'm honestly not sure. Hitomi's words trailed off. This was clearly difficult for her to talk about. Anyway, we should probably get you to the police as soon as we... No, we can't do that. Hitomi's tone was resolute. I can't take this to the police. Why not? Aki waited for an answer, but none came. After a long-waited, awkward silence, she stood up from her seat. I really appreciate the help, but I should go now. She gave Aki a deep bow. Nuh-uh. Hold on. What do you mean, go? Go where? He hurried to intervene as she headed for the door. I don't want to cause you any more trouble. I'll figure the rest out on my own somehow. Hey, I said hold on. Hitomi ignored him and opened the door, and their argument came to an abrupt halt. Standing there was the man with the cane, his revolver in his hand. To be continued. Aki Endo's 10 o'clock story ends here. However, Shinya Kano still has more to do. Read along further in Kano's story. It doesn't say from where. So from like here? Here? Anyway. Kind of out of... I don't know. I'll try from here, I guess. The man shadowed into a major thoroughfare, then bolted up a pedestrian bridge. Just where the heck was this guy heading? Halfway across the bridge, the man stopped abruptly. Cautious, Kano stopped as well. Height, roughly 190 centimeters. Age, 30s. Hair, dark brown. Clothing, all black. A moment later, the man flashed a triumphant sneer, and he held up the attached case. Before Kano could even yell stop, it was already too late. The man threw the attached case down to the roadway below. No! Panicking, Kano appeared over the railing. A man on a motorcycle was waiting beneath the bridge. I've been had. Kano bit his lip hard. Damn it! Kano sprinted back down the bridge, hearing the biker's engine roar to life. He had to make it in time. Descending the stairs 4 at a time, he leapt toward the roadway, but the bike sped out of reach and roared away in the direction of Yoyogi, leaving Kano and its dust. Looking back up at the overpass, he saw the man who had thrown the attached case running away. He handed the money off to someone else? He's currently on a motorcycle heading toward Yoyogi. His report accusé complete, Kano slumped down in dismay. The cops had played right into the criminal's hands. Now the crooks were getting away and people's lives were in danger. Was there any greater failure for a policeman? Staring off into the distance where the man who'd thrown the case had disappeared, Kano gritted his teeth. To be continued. It's like, if you want to see more of this, buy the goddamn game. Don't be so cheap. I'm just kidding. You finished reading both character stories for the hour of 10 o'clock. In 428, you'll make your way through all the protagonists' stories in parallel like this. Once everyone has reached the end of a given hour, the next hour can begin. Shibuya Scramble. Not Shibuya Station. I keep thinking Shibuya Station because they mentioned that. This concludes the demo of 420 Shibuya Scramble. What happens next? Purchase the full game and let the cat out of the bag. Wow, those cats. Alright, well, this has been 428 Shibuya Scramble demo. That went on longer than I expected. It's an interesting... I don't mind these type of games. They're not really something I play. But given as much that they're kind of rare and random, like, they do have some interesting stories, and you kind of do want to, like, you know, read on more and make decisions and stuff just to see how things play out. It's, like, I like the thoughts of these games, but they're, like, a dime a dozen. Like, they're never really, like, made to be released. Excuse me. But all I can really say at the end is, games like this shouldn't be very expensive, in my opinion. But the photos and the actors that they use and all that, so I can understand why it is a bit of, you know, on the pricey end. I don't know how much this game goes for, but I imagine it's probably going for, like, probably over $30 Canadian for sure. I can't see it being on, like, $20 Canadian or something, but who knows. Like I said, like, I want to say there's production quality, but it's not like that other game that actually plays like a movie where you make decisions and then the movie continues. I can't remember the name of the game, but it came out last year. But I think this game, 428, came out this year. But the other one's not text-based. Like, they give you the decisions in text-based, but everything literally is a movie. But the only thing about that game, apparently, is you can't skip the movie. You have to sit and watch everything that you have sat and watched before. I can't remember how long it, like, lasted for. The other game I'm speaking of. But anyway. So this is a bit of a breath of fresh air. It's a nice change of pace from playing, like, you know, the RPGs, JRPGs, first-person shooters, third-person shooters, and whatever. Or, you know, racing games. Well, maybe not so much racing games. I don't really play a whole lot of those. Or, you know, fighting games. But it's a nice change of pace either way. It's interesting, but it just was kind of a headache where I had to, like, read, you know, one person's story, then I had to be like, oh, bad end, go switch to this character to continue playing. Oh, now go back and play as this character and select this option instead to advance through, and it's kind of like, oh my god, this is fucking headache central right here. I wish that they'd done it a little bit more differently. I just wish it was just like, play this character's, like, story and, like, you know, select these endings, and if this ending does not work out so much, then select the other ending, or select the other option and continue through the story and whatever. I don't know. Just, it's interesting, but it's kind of annoying, like, headache. But yeah. Anyway. So, visual novel, the game. Maybe the game, the script for this game is 428 pages. You know, front and back maybe or something, because, I mean, that's a lot of reading I did there, and that was probably God knows how many pages. But can you imagine if this, like, game was 428 pages long, so they just called it 428 Shibuya Scramble, because it was actually 428 pages long. But anyway, reading Historia did this better. Yeah, that game doesn't exist to me because it's not on PlayStation. But anyway, and Radiant Historias probably doesn't play exactly like this, where they actually take real faces of people and you know, doing all this other stuff and whatever. Your loss. My gain. Sony Pony for life, baby. Alright, well, this has been 428 Shibuya Scramble. I did have two demos to stream. But I'm going to take a bit of a, you know, just a 10-minute break, and then I'm going to jump into the other demo. I can't remember what the name of it is, but if y'all hang tight, and then you'll see what the game is when I start it up through stream. But, yeah, I had up to, like, 4 people at one time, and then all of a sudden 2 people, like, scrammed right out of there. And when I was rambling on about Fallout 76 and my, you know, my distaste for Bethesda and badmouth them, I lost the other viewer. So, I'll blame Bethesda on that. Me talking about Fallout 76 and people shitting on it, and my displeasure of, displeasingness of, Bethesda in general as a company, and the stuff that they get away with scared off the other person. So I'll blame Bethesda and myself for that. Anyway, I probably ran them off. Nah, you didn't, man. Because, I mean, like, we were just talking about it, and I was mainly the one, like, ranting and whatever, and then they left, so it doesn't really matter. But anyway, so I want to thank, for all those who just, you know, popped in here. David and whoever the 3 mystery people were. Thanks for watching. And Dave, I'm not sure if you really want to stick around, because I imagine you probably will be taken off, but another 10 minutes from now, I'm going to just jump into, like, another demo for another game, just to try out. And no, it's not the Persona dancing games, I can tell you that much. It's probably a game you never heard of, but when I seen it, I was like, yeah, okay, I'll give it a try. I never actually took a look at the screenshots or video or streaming of the game. I just looked at the cover of the game, and I was like, you know what, I think I'll go for it. But anyway, alright. See you all on my next Let's Try demo.